So I'm bringing now Anna Arellano, okay? So Anna, she's one of our information security specialists. She joined Mindera in February this year, so she just freshly joined. In her spare time, she gives courses, and it was something that on the interview really caught my eye when she shared that she did, courses for how to hack like a girl, to promote women in engineering and talk about security. So that's very exciting. She's Mexican and she's living in Portugal. So it will be a delight to hear her presentation. Some facts about Anna. When she needs to be focused working, she prefers to have like the TV in the background and friends or noise, so she can be more focused. She also loves board games and playing these games. But once she starts playing, she's like a ruthless competitor. She's like not giving breaks to anyone. Okay, so she's really tough on that. Also, there is a funny story. Once she lost a shoe crossing a street, and she could not go back, to catch the shoe. So I think it was an interesting day in the client's office with only one shoe. So I think it's time to bring Anna to the stage. Please, Anna, join me here.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. I'm going to leave you and see you guys in half an hour. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. As Pedro already said, I joined Mindera in February, so I'm quite new here, but very, very excited. So let me share here my screen. Please let me know if you can see it. Yep. Can everyone see my screen and hear me? Perfect. So let's start then. I want to start first by explaining a little bit why I have called this talk Hack Like a Girl, because it's an interesting name. I'm sure you are all familiar with phrases like you run like a girl or you throw like a girl, which are common ways to insult someone. And we all have heard or maybe used them at one point. But what we are trying to do is to change that misperception, right? Why making things like a girl should be something negative? Let's change that negative perception and make doing things like a girl a statement of doing things amazingly. So that's why I have made this talk about hacking like a girl, because we can hack like a girl and do it amazingly. So let's start. Let me start by introducing myself. Sure. So, who am I and why I am here? My name is Ana Arellano, also known as Blue Bug Porcupine on the cybersecurity platforms. I'm an information security specialist, as Pedro just said, here in Mindera, and I have a background in information technology. I studied my undergrad degree in Mexico, and then I decided that it was time for a change. So I applied to a scholarship, and I went out to London to study a master's degree in information security, which I enjoyed very, very much because I did my dissertation thesis on password security and password attacks. I was able to identify trends on how people create passwords and why this is still a pain point for everyone. Passwords is the main point of access and also the main point of pain on everyone today. So it was quite fun to do an experiment on that. I'm also a staff volunteer at different cybersecurity events. The most closest one is the Day of Security, which is next week. So I invite you all to join as well with that. They have very practical on-hands lab for cybersecurity and women in cybersecurity. Also, I'm a continuous speaker at IEEE Women in Engineering, one of the Mexican chapters, in which I focus on giving these talks, technical talks about how to hack, specifically passwords and phishing attacks, to girls from 8 years old to 15 or 16 years old, in which I show them that there's a whole world that they can dream of within cybersecurity. Also, I'm a big promoter of girls in engineering, as I just said. I'm a proud mom of a 10-month-old future hacker. And as all you can see here, the image below, these are Mexican landmarks because, as Pedro already said, I'm Mexican and I feel very proud of that. Also, I've been in London, now in Portugal, and after several changes of countries, I will always be faithful to tacos and tequila. So that is something that I like to say. Now, through my years in the field, in cybersecurity and information technology in general, I have encountered that there's a huge gap of gender between male and female in the field. So usually I have been part of teams where I'm the only woman, or teams which I'm part of 2 or 3 other women. So that is so critical, and we need to find a way to change that now. So what's this gender gap? Let's talk about what is it and what is not. To close the cyber gender gap, it's much more than just, for example, hiring women to bump the curve, or just to hiring women or people that belong to a minority to improve our group. It's not about increasing a number and to be able to say that you care about gender equality or completing a task on a checklist. It's also not about who is better than who. We are not in a competition saying, okay, who's wrong or who's right or who's better, men or women or vice versa. It's much more than that. So what this is really about, to close the cyber gender gap, we need to talk about the massive shortage of cybersecurity professionals. And this is in general. Imagine, if we have more job positions in cyber than people, we have fewer women that apply to those jobs. We're currently experiencing this massive shortage, and what a better time than this to support women to help fill the need. According to a study made by Cybersecurity Ventures, there will be up to 3.5 million openings by the end of this year. So we're a very time to promote and to support women and girls to help us fill this. Another important point is diversity. And by diversity, I mean diversity in perspectives, in experiences, in backgrounds. Shouldn't we as defenders have as much variety as possible if our cyber criminals and attackers have a lot of experience and a lot of variety in their type of people? So we should be just like that, as much diversity of backgrounds and experiences as possible. And at the end, it's all good for the business. All these points will be good for a company, for an enterprise, and for the world we are living in. We need to help create an equity environment for everyone. Now, I don't want just to be like running around. So let's move on to a couple of questions so you can all participate. So please go on your right, you will have a section that is called poll, and it will appear the first poll. Daniel, you could help me set up the first poll, please? And we can all just answer a few questions. The first question is, would you say that gender-specific toys harm girls' career opportunities? So we'll please go to the poll. And we will be able to see the live answers there. Okay, we have a lot of yeses, not so many no's, which is fine. I was expecting to see this. Some people maybe don't realize. Some people might already have some experience with this. Okay, so around 80% has said that yes, the specific gender toys harm girls' career opportunities. Now, let's pass on to the next question. How much do the toys we give our children shape their future prospects in the job market? So this is a little bit different. We're not talking just about how this impacts girls. but our children in general. Okay, so this one is a bit more interesting. We have almost 60% at a lot. Okay, we have one vote at nothing at all. That's interesting. Okay, so most of the answers have been a lot of impact. We have 20% at a huge impact and 5% at nothing at all. There's nothing to do with how we shape our children's future. So I like these answers very much because they give us this diversity in opinions and experiences. So let's move on. As we saw in these questions, we have some challenges to overcome. Let's talk about one of these challenges and we'll come back to the results of these questions. Everyone has memories of toys they love playing with as a child, right? It might be building blocks, Legos, or a train set, or a dollhouse, or a tea set. And we need to realize that gender-specific toys could limit our children's interests. How? Let's see some examples. It all began when we were kids, right? I saw this image about two toys of the same brand. Let's look at the blue one for boys. My first carry along medical center. So this says the boy can be a doctor when he grows up. Let's look at the girls one. My first carry along beauty studio. What message is this brand sending, right? A girl should only care about being beautiful and makeup, while the boy should care about or dream of being a doctor. Let's look at the other one. The blue one says junior doctor, and the pink one for girls says little nurse. So this is also really interesting because the message we're sending here is like a girl should only dream to be up to a nurse, but a boy can dream to be higher and achieve being a doctor. So this kind of messages, subtle messages, is what we need to change. Here's another example about some books in which for the girls says how to be gorgeous, smart ways to look and feel fabulous, which is fine. It has nothing wrong with that. But the boy version is about how to be clever, smart ways to get smarter, right? So here the message we're sending is a girl should focus on how to be beautiful, how to make up, how to be fabulous, while a boy can and should be taking care about how to be smarter, to develop brain, and stuff like this. So these type of toys and books have a huge impact. And I'm not saying that if, for example, I play with Legos and construction sets, I will be a constructor. But I'm saying that there are limits. This toy limits the children's vision, right? So this is a huge problem. And why is a huge problem? And it's a difficult one because it's subtle and pervasive. These are issues wrapped up in culture and education, and unconsciously we pass these ideas to our children. As we saw in this example, different types of toys give different message about what's appropriate for boys and girls to do, and they have different educational content. Now, as I said before, it doesn't necessarily mean those that play with Legos or trains will be train drivers, or those that play with dolls and tea sets will be housekeepers or tea ladies. However, gender-specific toys can limit children's interests. And we need to be very, very careful with that. But how does these toys translate to today's world? Well, the result is that women often don't see tech or security as viable career paths because they're often considered as masculine professions. And I can totally relate to that. I have been very lucky to have an engineer mother who always supported me to study whatever I wanted, and I decided engineering. But there are girls that don't have that opportunity. So we need to change that. Let's go from this to this, right? In which we teach our children that they can play kitchen or mechanic no matter the gender, that they can do both or none, that they decide what they like without us putting them in front of what they should be doing. So how can we help? Let's support and promote engineering careers for girls. And here's a funny story that I really, really like. In one of the talks on Women Engineering in Mexico, there was this woman, Carolina Gallardo, which is a Mexican woman in NASA, and she was sharing her experience. And one of the little girls before the talk said that she wanted to be a veterinarian. And after the talk, she raised her hand and she said, you know what? I have changed my mind. I just don't want to be a veterinarian. I want to be one of the veterinarians that are sent to space with animals. And I was shocked after what she said, because that's the impact that we want to make. We need to show the girls that they have such a big world to explore and they can dream of being anything, but just not to dream of. Let's give them the tools to achieve those dreams. Let's encourage children also to explore, to question, interact, and work together. We're not trying to do more segregation, right? We're trying to put them together and to understand each other. And we also need to break this huge barrier, right? In another talk that I was giving for Women Engineering in Mexico, the one technical in which we actually show them how to hack passwords so they can learn how to create secure passwords. It was quite fun. I was talking to a lot of them, and after the talk, I received an email from one of the girls that was there, and she told me that 5 of the girls and her, they live in a remote location in Mexico, where there's no internet, there are no computers, anything. So they had to walk every week 30 minutes until they reach a cyber cafe to connect, and they create a group called Hacking Like Girls. So that just made my day. That's where I realized that I can help little girls to dream to be hackers or dream to be engineers or veterinarians or whatever they like, but always supporting them. So this was quite a quick talk because I just wanted to focus this talk on how to help our children and our girls, because even though women are still not a great majority in cybersecurity, the point of start should be when they are children, when we shape them, when we teach them. So let's make this part of our new strategy. I hope I was able to get into your head somehow, and I invite you all to be part of this change. And if you are not already part of it, and if you are already, let's keep pushing and let's keep helping to those to close the gender gap. I have also 3 tips that I would love to share with you, especially for girls and women in tech, and that I have found very, very useful. Which is the first one: don't be intimidated and take chances. What does this mean? I remember when I took my first job in cybersecurity, I was so scared. It was a team of 40 men. I was the only woman there, and it was quite intimidating because I had to put double effort to first try to demonstrate that I was worth it, that I could do the job, and then actually do the job, right? I was so scared, and through my career, I have encountered that a lot of women feel like this as well. So I'm just saying, go for it and don't be afraid. Another one is to start your networking and join mentorship programs. I was very lucky as well to have a lot of mentors, women mentors, that helped me with this crisis of belonging, because that's real. And they helped me to thrive through that. There are a lot of mentorship programs, a lot of groups of Slacks and LinkedIn and Facebook of women in cybersecurity. Jump as much as you can, and this will help you to find that sense of belonging. And last but not least, embrace learning, which is also, I know, such a challenge to demonstrate that sometimes you don't know and to ask, and maybe you will look like, what is she doing here if she doesn't know? Don't worry about it. We all start knowing nothing. So it's just a matter of taking the first step and asking. That's the way best of learning. I found this quote in the internet, and I like it very much because I think it makes a lot of sense. And it says that behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. And this is what we should be doing right now, right? We should be empowering women and also supporting other women to be empowered. So thank you very much. I hope you like my talk, and I hope I got into your head somehow, and you help us to close this gap. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anna, for your presentation and also for joining me in that. I think it's lovely to having you on board.